Welcome to Wall Street Drug YouTube channel, your one information stop for America's finance news. America just announced a major tariff increase per tree, and it might set off a chain reaction that leads to a global recession.
On Monday, August 10th, U.S. markets closed mixed as investors digested fresh economic data and braced for new trade policy changes.
A single policy decision in Washington could shake the entire world's economy. The Dow Jones Industrial Average slipped 72 points, down 0.2%, while the S&P 500 edged 0.1% higher. The NASDAQ. Let's break down why this matters, you, and how it could affect us.
First, let's understand what a tariff is. A tariff is basically a tax that a government charges on goods coming in from other countries. When a country imports steel, electronics, clothing, or cars, the government can add a fee. That's the tariff. Recently, the United States announced that it will be raising tariffs on certain imported goods. This could include industrial materials, high-tech equipment, and even consumer products like household electronics. Now, let's understand the immediate effects. When tariffs go up, imported goods instantly become more expensive. Let's say a U.S. company imports parts from overseas to make a smartphone. If tariffs rise, the cost of those parts increases. The company has two choices: absorb the extra cost, which hurts profits, or pass it on to consumers by raising prices. Second, retaliation. If the U.S. raises tariffs on other countries, those countries might respond by imposing their own tariffs on American goods. That means U.S. farmers, car makers, and tech companies could lose access to key foreign markets. Third, supply chain disruptions. Modern manufacturing is global. A single product might involve raw materials from Africa, components from Asia, assembly in Europe, and final sales in America. Tariffs throw a wrench into that chain, causing delays, shortages, and higher prices everywhere. Now, let's understand how it could lead to global recession. If this trade tension escalates, here's how it could push the world toward a recession. 1. Reduced global trade. When tariffs make goods more expensive, countries trade less. Fewer exports mean slower growth worldwide. 2. Business uncertainty. Companies delay investments because they can't predict future costs or market access. 3. Inflationary pressure. Higher tariffs raise production costs, which leads to higher prices for consumers everywhere. 4. Lower consumer spending. When prices go up, people buy less. This slows down the economy. 5. Emerging markets get hit hardest. Many smaller economies rely on exporting goods to the U.S. If demand falls, their economies can suffer severe slowdowns, sometimes triggering debt crises. This combination, slower trade, higher costs, and falling consumer demand, is exactly what can tip the global economy into recession. Now, let's understand, have this happened to America in the past? This isn't the first time protectionist tariffs have caused trouble. Back in 1930, during the Great Depression, the U.S. passed the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. The idea was to protect American farmers and manufacturers by making foreign goods more expensive. Instead, other countries retaliated with their own tariffs, world trade collapsed, and the Depression deepened. It's a reminder that while tariffs may protect some industries in the short term, they can backfire in the long run. What this means to everyday people. So, what does this mean for you and me? It could mean higher prices on everyday goods, from clothing and electronics to cars and groceries. If you work in an industry that exports goods overseas, tariffs could put jobs at risk. And if markets turn volatile, investments and retirement savings could take a hit. In other words, even if you never deal with imports or exports directly, the effects could still hit your wallet. Now, the conclusion: tariffs aren't just a political tool. They're powerful economic levers. And when the world's largest economy pulls that lever hard, the shockwaves can be felt everywhere. The U.S.'s decision to raise tariffs may be aimed at protecting its own industries, but history shows that trade wars rarely end with a clear winner. The real danger is that, if tensions spiral, we might all find ourselves living through a global economic slowdown, or worse, a recession. The big question now is, will leaders around the world find a way to cool things down, or are we on the edge of the next big economic crisis? That's all for today. For more finance and global finance news, subscribe to Wall Street Drug and hit the bell icon so that you never miss any update related to finance. Ciao, and see you in the next video.